Hey, what's happening, everybody? Mac the Duelist coming at you again from the TCG Enterprise, where we talk about all your favorite card games. So, you guys, I am going to show you guys something way back then. I used to play back in 2016. It is Force of Will. Yeah, most of you have heard of this kind of game, and most of you have not. So, and for the ones who do, you are probably thinking to yourselves right now, hey, Force of Will, yeah, I've heard of that. Isn't it already dead? Well, you couldn't be any more right, technically. I honestly think that this could still have potential to keep going. Some people are saying that it's dead, although there are still quite a few new cards that are being produced. They're just not always being seen out competitively and all of that. But in any case, so the one that I'm running here is Sylvia, Gill, Palarilias. The thing is that this is an old school deck, and I don't want to update it in any way. If anything, I'll do a different variation of this deck. If you guys want to see more Force of Wills, I'll definitely make them. So, but anyways, the game mechanic of Force of Will is pretty much the combination of Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! In the sense you have this. So this is your J ruler, and your J ruler. Well, actually, I should say your ruler. Is basically like in Yu-Gi-Oh! When they did the Deck Master ability when they were in the virtual world. And pretty much what this does is that it lets you do its ability called Judgment, where you'll pay one fire and one wind, or green, if you will. And then the fire magic stones that you control will gain tap, and then you can produce out for green. She's a clan founder, so you're only allowed to have one of these into your deck, but it's still pretty cool to have. And then if you flip it over, because eventually you do have to flip over your J roller to use other effects, this one goes into Sylvia, Gill, Palarilias, and this is a dragon. And this is a clan founder dragon. And what this does is it has flying and swiftness. Swiftness is an equivalent of haste in Magic the Gathering, which means that you can attack it right away, where you don't have to do summoning sickness, which means it just basically just stays there. I'll go into more mechanics and all that with tutorials about how to play this game. So, but this is just me just showing you guys the profile. But anyways, when this enters the field, it deals it deals 1,000 damage to target J Resonator. Now, Resonators in Force of Will, I'll just go real quick under that. It's kind of like Resonators in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where the Resonators basically help out the Red Dragon Archfiend deck, and it basically just works together as a mechanic to make the deck flow. So that's what this deck does. And whenever a J Resonator that was dealt damage by this card this turn is destroyed, you may recover up to 3 target magic stones you control, and those will basically go back to you. The magic stones, if you will, are kind of like in Magic the Gathering. They're used out for lands. They basically produce out for your abilities so that you could use them, and its attack and defense is 1,000. So it's still pretty cool. This is an awesome deck, so let's go ahead and get on to our main lineups. So our main lineups right now is going to be this one here, and this is called Familiar the Holy Wind. Cost out for 1 green, and it's 200 by 200. It's a Resonator Familiar Cat. When it enters into the battlefield there, you'll draw a card. You could pay 1 green and banish this card, then deal 300 damage to target Resonator. So pretty much what you're dealing out in Force of Will is that you're dealing out damage to the Resonators and to the rulers. You're not dealing damage out towards your opponent. So much. And then we have our next lineup here, and then we have Guinevere, the Jealous Queen. So Guinevere, this came out in the Knights pack and all that. A lot of this stuff is designated around with King Arthur and fairy tale stuff and a bunch of other things. So, but I'll go into more details when the tutorial hits, you guys. So basically, this all has the same. You'll tap it, and then you'll banish a Resonator, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Then when you pay out for 1 red and tap it, one of the Resonators you control will get a boost by 400 on each side until the end of the turn. When it deals damage, or when it is dealt damage this turn, you'll banish it. I like this art, but I like this art too, so I decided to just kind of go a little bit go with 3 of the one. This one I really like, and this one is called Flame Dragon Commandment. Run 4 of this one here. It is a human, but the artwork on it, it looks really amazing and it's super, super shiny. Dragon Resonators you control will gain plus 200 and 200. As long as you control a dragon, this card gains flying, which means it'll bypass. Just like how flying is in for Magic, it'll gain flying too. And I really like the artwork onto this one here. Next, we have for Lancelot, Knight of Mad Demon. Is a Resonator, the Knight of the Round Table. Swiftness, it will attack right away. You can play it and activate its abilities the same turn it enters onto the battlefield. As you choose a card to attack, you must choose this card if able, which means it has to attack. Whenever this card attacks, if this card's attack is 1,000 or more, this card will deal 700 damage to target Resonator. You could pay any amounts of red to give this guy a boost. So that's why it says 1 red, and this card will gain 100 until the end of the turn. You could boost this thing all the way up to 1,000, and then you can start getting at your opponent and start dishing out a whole bunch of stuff to their side and start wiping down their board. As far as our dragons here go, we have 1 Whelp Drake. It has flying. Cannot be blocked by J Resonators without flying. When it is put into the graveyard from your field, it'll deal 400 damage to target Resonator. And then we have 2 Spawn Blazer. It's a dragon, flying, activate, banish this card, produce 2 wills in any combination of attributes. Spend that only to play dragons. So, in other words, what this means is that for the wills, the will is basically the cost. Like how in Magic, the mana cost is the number and the symbol. So this is basically the same thing here. And it allows you to play it out, but only for dragons. So, then we have 1 Mordred, the Traitor. Mordred is the Knight of the Round Table. Whenever this card attacks, you can banish another Resonator. If you do, this card will deal 1,000 damage to target Resonator, which is really, really good. Start wiping out the boards. Then we have 2 of the Phoenix of the Flame of the World. It's a 12 Apostles Phoenix. Has flying. When this card enters onto the battlefield, deal 300 damage to each Resonator your opponent controls. It basically deals out a board wipe on your opponent's side. And then when this card is put into the graveyard from your field, you could pay 2, and if you do, put this card into its owner's hand. It acts like Chandra's Phoenix in Magic. Yeah. Then we're going to be going with 4 of the Cauldra Bone Dragon, or Born Dragon, sorry. It has swiftness and it'll attack. It's just something to go ahead and have out real quick and start attacking with right away. It's always good. Then we have 2 of the Blazer, the Eater of Dimensions. It's a Wanderer Dragon, and we play this. You may play this card from your removed area. Has the swiftness and continuous effect. If a card will be put into the graveyard from anywhere, remove it from the game instead. That is why this card is so good, because it'll basically stop from your opponent if they want to bring stuff back. Now they can't, because it'll get removed from play. So that's it for all the Resonators. And then now we're going to go on with our spells. And with our spells comes great possibilities. So we are going to be going with 4 Demon Flame, choose 1. It'll deal 500 damage to target Resonator, or destroy target Resonator that was dealt damage this turn. This is always good because of the fact that when you could hit on towards your opponent, if you hit their Resonators, you could either deal the 500 damage to it, or if it was already dealt damage this turn already, you could just kill it, which is good. Doesn't matter how big it is, it could just drop it down. Then we're going to be going with 2 Sylvia's Roar. You choose 1. If your J ruler is the Sylvia of Palarilias, choose up to 2 instead. Resonators you control will gain 300 attack until the end of the turn, or Dragon J Resonators you control will gain, whenever this card attacks, it deals damage equal to its attack to target Resonator until the end of the turn. This is great, and it also, mind you, these are instants as well, so they can be played right away. The thing is that when this does out for the damage, it will go ahead and deal that much damage to another one, which basically this may focus on towards this as a beatdown deck, so it allows you to go ahead and start wiping out your opponent's board really quickly. Then we have 2 of the Duel of Truth. Target J Resonator you control and target J Resonator your opponent controls deals damage equal to their attack to each other. So it's basically like pit fight, where basically 2 creatures will fight each other to the death in Magic, and then they'll basically just clobber each other out, unless one is, of course, stronger than the other, or if they're tied. Next, we have 3 of the Evolution of Limits. Target Resonator will gain 600 and 600 until the end of the turn. This is always good if you want to boost up your Lancelot by a little bit more, so then that way you can pretty much use out for his effect, start board wiping, or anything else for that matter. You can hit it on towards one of your dragons, start getting it beefed up pretty big. Then we have 2 Excalibur, the God's Sword. Your J-Ruler gains target attack. Your J-Ruler will get plus 200, 200 until the end of the turn. If it's Furia, the ruler of God's Sword, which it's not, but in any case, it'll gain imperishable until the end of the turn. You pay 2 less to play its God Art abilities this turn. Discard 1 other card named Excalibur the Sword to produce out for the light, basically. And banish this card. Your J-Roller will gain imperishable this turn. So it's always good to go ahead and just get out for the light, and also to get out for your J-Roller to go ahead and give it a good boost. As far as that goes, that's it. The equipments, the spells, there's nothing else left of that. So now we'll go on to the stones. We have these stones. There are stones that are basically like magic and that as far as producings go. And these basically allow you to go ahead and bring out your stuff so you can cast it. This will produce out red or fire, if you will, fire magic. That way you could go ahead and play out your big guys and bring out your dragons and everything. Then we have 4 of the Magic Stone of Heat Ray. This one is a special magic stone that's treated as a light magic stone and a fire magic stone. So you could produce this out. So then that way you could use it for whatever have you that you need, which is always good. And then finally, we're going to be going with these ones. And these ones are the Magic Stone of Blasting Winds. Or Blasting Waves, sorry. Blasting Waves. These ones produce out for your red and your green. Or for your wind or your fire. So, and then that's it for the deck, you guys. Honestly, I love this deck. And she's definitely waifu material in the fullest extent. I couldn't change this out. If I wanted to, I'll make another deck of it just to bring it out. I have another deck in mind as well, you guys. I have a vampire deck, which is actually pretty cool. It features Dracula. So I'll definitely have that ready for you guys in the coming weeks, months, however many. Hopefully we'll get enough likes on this video. Speaking of which, go ahead and like this video, you guys, and also subscribe. And also hit that post notification bell for more deck profiles and other videos you guys want to see. And I'll see you guys all until the next time. Happy gaming.